Walter is 74. He's a retired school teacher, widowed, and lives alone in a quiet town in Ohio. Every evening, he makes a simple, home-cooked dinner. A bit of grilled chicken, some steamed vegetables, maybe a little rice or soup. Like many older adults, he saves the leftovers, wraps them up, puts them in the fridge, and tells himself, "It's still good tomorrow." But last winter, something unexpected happened. One morning, Walter didn't feel quite right. He had stomach cramps and felt dizzy. By noon, he was vomiting. By evening, he was rushed to the ER, severely dehydrated. The doctors traced it back to a meal he had the night before, a bowl of reheated rice that had been sitting in his fridge overnight. It had developed Bacillus cereus, a bacteria that produces toxins not destroyed by heat. Walter survived, but he spent 4 days in the hospital, followed by 2 weeks recovering at home. All because of a common, everyday food most of us wouldn't think twice about. Here's the truth no one talks about. As we age, our defenses weaken. Our digestive system slows down. Our immune response isn't as sharp. And that means the same food that felt harmless at 30 can become dangerous at 65. Just because something smells fine, looks fine, doesn't mean it's safe. Some bacteria are invisible, tasteless, and deadly. And every year, thousands of seniors in America are hospitalized for foodborne illnesses caused by something as simple as leftovers kept overnight. In today's video, we're going to reveal 6 everyday foods you should never, ever leave overnight, especially if you're over 60. These are not exotic or rare items. They're foods many of us eat every week, sometimes every day, without knowing they could be slowly damaging our muscles, our gut, and even increasing our risk of infection or hospitalization. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. It's about protection. It's about making sure you and your loved ones stay safe and strong for the years to come. So grab a notepad, sit down with a cup of tea, and stay with us. Because what you'll learn today might just save a life, maybe even yours. Let's start with something so ordinary, so harmless looking, that it's on nearly every dinner table in America: white rice. Most people think it's safe to reheat. You leave some rice in the pot, toss it in the fridge, and warm it up tomorrow. No big deal, right? Wrong, especially if you're over 60. Here's the hidden truth. Cooked rice is one of the most common causes of foodborne illness in seniors. Why? Because of a bacteria called Bacillus cereus. This bacteria forms spores that can survive cooking temperatures. When the cooked rice is left out too long, more than 2 hours at room temperature, or even 30 minutes above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius, those spores wake up and start multiplying. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, Bacillus cereus is responsible for an estimated 63,000 cases of food poisoning each year in the U.S., and older adults are among the highest risk groups due to weaker immune systems and slower digestion. But here's the most dangerous part. The bacteria produces a toxin that cannot be destroyed by reheating. You can steam it, microwave it, boil it. It won't help. A single serving of contaminated rice can lead to intense vomiting within 1 to 5 hours, diarrhea and abdominal cramps for up to 24 hours, severe dehydration, especially dangerous for seniors on blood pressure meds or diuretics. In rare cases, electrolyte imbalance and hospitalization. One study published in the Journal of Food Protection found that 20% of foodborne outbreaks caused by Bacillus cereus were linked to rice or pasta dishes, especially when improperly stored. And the symptoms? No strange taste, no sour smell, just a seemingly normal bowl of rice that can knock you off your feet by morning. So what should you do? Always cool rice within 1 hour of cooking. Store it in an airtight container in the fridge at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius or below. Eat it within 24 hours and never reheat it more than once. And if you've had it sitting out for a few hours or overnight, throw it out. It's not worth the risk. For seniors, what seems like a small mistake, leaving rice on the counter overnight, can lead to big consequences. The second food on our list is one that's often praised for being healthy, affordable, and protein-rich. Boiled eggs. But here's something most seniors don't realize. Once an egg is cooked, its protective shell is no longer effective. And if it's not stored properly, it becomes the perfect breeding ground for dangerous bacteria, especially Salmonella enteritidis. Let's talk science for a moment. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, about 1 in every 20,000 eggs is contaminated with Salmonella. While that may seem like a low number, in a population with weaker immunity, like seniors, it becomes far more serious. The CDC reports that seniors over 65 are more likely to suffer severe complications from Salmonella infection, including sepsis, kidney damage, extreme dehydration, and in some cases, death. Here's where it gets worse. Eggs don't even need to smell bad to be dangerous. A boiled egg sitting in the fridge for 3 or 4 days might look fine on the outside, but inside, bacteria could already be spreading. And it's not just plain boiled eggs you should worry about. Egg salad, deviled eggs, omelets, casseroles, quiches, anything with eggs mixed with mayo, cream, or cheese can turn toxic within 24 to 48 hours, especially if they weren't chilled quickly after serving. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Microbiology found that over 30% of Salmonella outbreaks in the U.S. were linked to improperly stored or handled egg-based dishes, many of them served at home, not restaurants. For someone in their 30s, this might just mean a rough night. For someone over 60, it could mean a hospital bed, an IV drip, and a long road to recovery. So here's what to do. If you boil eggs, refrigerate them within 2 hours. Eat them within 1 week. No more. If it's egg salad or deviled eggs, eat within 2 days max. Never leave egg-based dishes sitting out at room temperature for more than 90 minutes, and most importantly, when in doubt, throw it out. Because no one should risk their health over a leftover egg. 3. Cooked leafy greens. From superfood to silent threat overnight. You've probably heard it 100 times. Eat your greens. And it's true. Leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, or bok choy are packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber. They're essential for heart health, digestion, and muscle strength, especially as we age. But here's what many seniors don't know. Once these vegetables are cooked, leaving them overnight can actually turn them toxic. Yes, you read that right. Leafy greens like spinach are naturally rich in nitrates, a harmless and beneficial compound when consumed fresh. In fact, nitrates can help improve blood flow and reduce blood pressure in moderate amounts. But when cooked and stored improperly, especially when left at room temperature or reheated multiple times, those nitrates can convert into nitrites, and eventually into nitrosamines, which have been linked to impaired oxygen transport in the blood, methemoglobinemia, increased risk of gastric cancer, muscle fatigue, and poor circulation, especially in older adults with cardiovascular issues. According to a study published in the European Journal of Epidemiology, nitrite intake from reheated vegetables is associated with a higher risk of cellular oxidative stress, something older bodies are far less equipped to handle. Worse still, these harmful changes happen without any smell or taste. Your reheated spinach might look and smell fine, but inside, it may be doing more harm than good. In fact, the World Health Organization, WHO, warns that individuals with compromised immune systems, such as seniors, are especially susceptible to nitrite toxicity. So what can you do? Only cook as much leafy greens as you'll eat in one meal. If you must store leftovers, cool them immediately and refrigerate within 90 minutes. Never reheat them more than once. And most importantly, avoid giving reheated leafy greens to seniors or young children. Remember, something as healthy as spinach can become harmful when stored wrong. In a younger, stronger body, the risk may be low, but in a senior's body, every toxin counts. Don't take that chance. 4. Soups and stews. A warm bowl that could turn deadly overnight. There's something comforting about a hot bowl of soup or stew. Whether it's beef stew on a cold evening or a chicken noodle soup when you're under the weather, these meals are classics in every senior's kitchen. They feel safe. They feel healing. But when stored incorrectly, they can become a recipe for disaster. Here's why. Soups and stews are often made in large batches, and it's common to let the pot sit on the stove while it cools. But this window of time, especially between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, is known as the danger zone in food safety. In this temperature range, one of the most dangerous bacteria in food storage can thrive, Clostridium perfringens. According to the CDC, Clostridium perfringens is the second most common bacterial cause of foodborne illness in the U.S., with over 1 million cases each year, and most outbreaks are linked to improperly cooled soups, stews, and gravies. Here's what makes it so dangerous for seniors. It doesn't change the taste or smell of the food. It grows rapidly in thick, dense foods like stew. Its toxins cause sudden, intense diarrhea and abdominal pain within 6 to 24 hours. In people over 60, especially those with weak kidneys or chronic illness, it can lead to severe dehydration, low blood pressure, and hospitalization. One hospital study published in Clinical Infectious Diseases found that nearly 20% of hospitalized food poisoning patients over age 65 had consumed improperly cooled stews or soups within 24 hours before falling ill. And sadly, it's a preventable tragedy. Many seniors, especially those living alone, believe that if you reheat something until it's boiling, it's safe. But by then, it may be too late. The bacteria may have already produced heat-resistant toxins that boiling won't destroy. So what should you do? Always divide large pots of soup or stew into shallow containers before refrigerating cool quickly, and store at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius or below. Eat leftovers within 2 to 3 days, and never reheat more than once. If the soup sat at room temperature for more than 2 hours, don't risk it. Because for seniors, what starts as a cozy bowl of comfort can end in an emergency room visit. 5. Cooked chicken, a high-risk food that turns toxic overnight chicken. It's lean, full of protein, and often considered a healthy go-to for seniors trying to eat clean. Baked, grilled, stewed. There are countless ways to prepare it. And just like many of us, you probably save what's left for later. But here's something you need to hear. Cooked chicken can become one of the most dangerous foods in your fridge if left overnight or stored improperly. Why? Because poultry is a prime breeding ground for Listeria monocytogenes, a bacteria that thrives in moist, protein-rich environments and can continue growing even at refrigerator temperatures. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, Listeria causes about 1,600 infections in the U.S. each year. While that number seems low, what's terrifying is that seniors over 65 account for more than 50% of all deaths related to listeriosis. Yes, 1 in 5 people who get infected with listeria will die. And it doesn't take much. Chicken left at room temperature for just 2 hours can enter the bacterial danger zone. Even if you refrigerate it, if it wasn't cooled fast enough or is stored for too long, listeria can silently multiply. Symptoms don't show up immediately. In fact, listeria has an incubation period of up to 70 days. That means you could eat contaminated chicken today and not feel symptoms until 2 months later. And when it hits, high fever, severe headache, muscle aches, nausea, and confusion. In seniors, it can lead to sepsis, meningitis, or death. A study published in the Journal of Food Protection found that ready-to-eat cooked chicken and deli meats are among the most frequent sources of listeria outbreaks, especially in households with vulnerable individuals. So how can you stay safe? Always refrigerate cooked chicken within 2 hours of cooking. Store it at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius or colder in a tightly sealed container. Eat within 2 to 3 days maximum. Never reheat it more than once, and if it looks, smells, or feels off, even slightly, throw it away immediately. Remember, listeria doesn't care that the chicken is cooked. It only cares that it has time and space to grow. And for seniors, that silent growth can become a fatal mistake. 6. Creamy foods and dairy-based dishes. The fastest way for bacteria to strike. They look harmless: a slice of frosted cake, a scoop of egg salad, a creamy potato salad brought home from the deli. But for older adults, these seemingly innocent foods can become bacterial landmines if not handled with extreme care. What do they all have in common? They contain dairy, cream, or mayonnaise, ingredients that spoil fast and create the perfect moist environment for bacteria like Staphylococcus aureus to thrive. Unlike some bacteria, Staph aureus doesn't just grow quietly. It produces a heat-resistant toxin that cannot be destroyed by reheating. Once that toxin is there, the damage is done, no matter how long you microwave it. According to the CDC, Staphylococcus aureus is responsible for about 240,000 cases of food poisoning in the U.S. each year, and most of them are caused by improperly chilled creamy foods, leaving dishes out during parties or potlucks, reheating foods that were already unsafe. The symptoms hit hard and fast: nausea, intense vomiting, diarrhea, stomach cramps, within just 2 to 6 hours. And while a younger person may recover in a day, for seniors, this sudden fluid loss can lead to severe dehydration, kidney strain, confusion or fainting, and in some cases, hospitalization for electrolyte imbalance or cardiac risk. One study in the Journal of Gerontology showed that seniors over 70 are twice as likely to suffer hospitalization from staph-related food poisoning compared to younger adults. And here's the scariest part. These foods often smell and look completely normal, even when they're dangerous. So what should you do? Never leave creamy dishes like egg salad, tuna salad, custards, or frosted cakes at room temperature for more than 1 hour, especially in warm environments. Store them at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius or colder as soon as possible. Consume within 24 to 48 hours and never leave leftovers out again. And if you're at a party or picnic, skip the creamy salads unless you're sure they've been kept cold, because the truth is, for seniors, a simple bite of the wrong food can become a medical emergency by nightfall.